Every year, about 50,000 students graduate with a film degree. With about 2,000 new studio job openings each year, many of these students feel lost at how to navigate the highly competitive landscape of Hollywood. To get an inside perspective, I sat down with Cody Stokes, a director who is known for his work on The Ghost Who Walks and Uncertain Terms. Cody has experience working in LA, therefore, he offers a unique perspective for aspiring filmmakers to learn from.
I graduated high school and moved straight to LA on my own and just started working as a PA. And my mom, who's a teacher, was very heartbroken about that. Just because her whole life, like she cares about education, rightly so. So I ended up actually coming back and going to Webster University. For me, it was like, it was accidental, but I ended up having this college experience that really became foundational for the career that I have now. Really just out of stubbornness, not that I had a great plan. It just worked out that way. Most of my experience was driven by me getting on film sets. Not to say I learned nothing from school. I don't want to dismiss it that easily, but I was on, like, if there was anything being shot, whether I was a director or not, I was on that set all 4 years of college. And that's where you really cut your teeth. And that's like that, and watching films and arguing about films, like that's where you learn about cinema. And then what you need to bring to cinema as a director or a writer or an act, whatever your role is thought and experience. And that's what makes a film unique. There's a lot of like jobs where people don't have to have opinions, but if you want to be a director, for example, you're going to have to come in with not only a strong opinion, but a unique point of view to that opinion. Like why is your opinion valid versus anyone else's? Because the one thing that's really challenging about being a director is everybody in the world who sees your work, no matter what it is, they immediately have an opinion about how they would have done it and how it would have been better than what you do. And like you have to learn to just live with that, but you also have to have the confidence, or at least the faith in your decision making that like the way you did it, even though someone would have done it differently, that was the right choice for you to make at the time, and there's a reason for that. Another part about being a director is you're running a crew of like a lot of people, and part of your job is delegating and knowing when the information coming back to you is a good idea, and it's worth not letting ego get in your way. And you go, yeah, okay, that's what we should do. We should do it, shoot it this way, or I don't know, whatever the situation is. And that takes a very sure footing that I think a lot of people just don't always possess, or they don't like the pressure of that, which is understandable. It's not always a very fun job. And so it very much is about the confidence of letting ego go, which is not often how a director is portrayed when you see them stereotypically, right? They're like shouting, or they're, kind of dictatorial, right? And that's, in my experience, I've definitely seen that, and I think that fails. Now every one of us has this in our pocket, and we can go make a movie. Is that the exact movie we want to make? No, probably not. I'm sure we all want like these cool cameras and lenses and all that stuff. But the point is, it's there. For me, my biggest piece of advice is just be making things all the time, and try things, like be totally okay with failing. A lot of what I learned is because I was making stuff. And I think that I see a lot of people just tell me all the things that they have these great ideas for, and I see a lot of inaction. So simply put, my advice would be you should be making as much as you can. And that doesn't mean it has to be a full story. If you just have an idea for a scene, shoot a scene. Work with directing actors. Just see how that goes, right? Just make it look good. Get people together. Try to create a moment. That is a true accomplishment. And then the thing that I think filmmakers don't do enough is they don't read enough. So just like, you should be consuming books. Our job is to tell stories. So if you're not consuming stories, you're never going to be able to tell a good story. You might know technically how to do something, right? Like a VFX or whatever. But like the most important part is if you're not telling a good story, people won't follow along no matter how good the VFX or the shots are. So making things and reading things are probably the two simplest things that someone should be doing. And you can do that whether you're in school or you're working overnight at Jack in the Box, right? Like you can still do those things. It takes a lot of work, but you should be willing to.